People, people, people. Welcome on this beautiful Saturday at Food Fair here at Food Fair International with Radio Groove FM on this very pivotal election weekend. So we are sitting here with Mr. Mike Lawler, and we couldn't be so proud to have you here because we know there's a lot of places you could be right now, and you chose to show us your presence, even though if it's a little bit of time, but we still appreciate that. So for the people watching and the ones that do not yet know about Mike Lawler, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Well, good morning, everyone. It's great to be here at Food Fair on Groove FM. Mike Lawler, I've represented you in Congress for the last 22 months. It's been an honor to serve. I serve on the House Financial Services and Foreign Affairs Committees, representing the 17th Congressional District, which includes all of Rockland County, northern Westchester, all of Putnam County, and 3 towns in Dutchess County. I'm proud of the work that we have done over the last 22 months. I've been rated the 4th most bipartisan member of Congress, working across the aisle to get things done on behalf of our constituents here and our community. We have brought back over $70 million in federal funds for community project funding to support critical infrastructure, including here in Spring Valley, as well as having visited every single community in this district multiple times. My staff has worked tirelessly to close over 4,500 individual constituent cases, bring back over $20 million in benefits to individual constituents that they're due, whether it be from the IRS, Social Security, Medicare, etc. We have worked to rein in the federal spending to help reduce the cost of living here in New York and across the country. We have fought to protect critical services like Social Security, like Medicare, to make sure that our residents have the resources and support that they need. We have worked tirelessly on issues like immigration. You know, we have obviously a large and vibrant Haitian community here in Spring Valley, and I know immigration continues to be a major challenge. We've worked with hundreds of constituents on their immigration cases. Obviously, have worked as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee on issues in Haiti. And how we really try to bring more stability on the ground in Haiti, so that ultimately there can be a free and fair election, and the Haitian people can determine their government, and that obviously is critical. So a lot of work, a lot of challenges ahead, but still looking forward to continuing to do the job, and hopefully on Tuesday have your support.
Perfect. Well, first off, I want to thank you for all the work you've already done, and it shows. It really shows. With all that said, what is that one key component that you guys are running on for this year's election? Because I know there's a lot with women issues and all the racial tension that's going on right now. But what is a key thing for you that you're running on today?
Well, for me in particular, it's the affordability crisis. You know, people cannot afford to live in our communities. New York leads the nation in out-migration. People are moving to other states because the cost of living here is high. Grocery prices, rent prices, mortgages, utilities, everything has gone up exponentially under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And so it's really created a challenge for people to afford where they live. And we've seen that throughout the district. People are struggling to pay their bills, and we need a growing economy. We need people to be gainfully employed and have good wages so that they can be able to provide for their families. We need to rein in federal spending. In this Congress, we reined it in by $2.1 trillion over the next decade, capping federal spending at 1% growth over the next 6 years. And what that will do by bringing down federal spending, we're not borrowing and printing as much money, which helps bring down inflation, which helps bring down the cost of groceries, utilities, energy, housing, et cetera. So we're trying to rein in the cost of living and lower that for folks, number one. Number two, obviously, we have a crisis at our border. We have a broken immigration system that we need to address in this country. I was proud to be an original co-sponsor of the Dignity Act, which not only would focus on securing our border, but would fix our legal immigration system so that people who want to come to the United States can do so legally, they can participate in our economy, they can enrich our culture, be part of the community. And that to me is critical. We're a nation of immigrants. My wife is an immigrant. So this is not about being against immigration. It's about having a system that actually works and that functions so that people aren't stuck in the shadows and they're not here undocumented, but they're here legally and can participate fully in our country and in our economy. I think we need to address that. This has been going on for 38 years since immigration reform was actually addressed and dealt with at a federal level. 38 years. I'm 38. It hasn't happened since I was born.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So we have to fix the system. And then obviously we have a lot of challenges around the globe. Including in Haiti, as I outlined before, in the Middle East, in Europe, in South America. We have to bring about peace and stability around the globe. And I think the United States needs to take a stronger leadership role in helping bring that about, especially when you look at the circumstances in Haiti right now, where you have a lot of gang activity, drug trafficking, gun trafficking, kidnapping. Since the assassination of the president, the government has not been stable for over 2+ years now. So there's a lot that needs to be done, and we should be working with our partners and the Haitian diaspora here in the United States to really make sure that they have a voice in the process moving forward and that we can get more stability on the ground and ultimately a free and fair election.
Perfect. Well said. With all of the little sectors in New York 17, which one of these do you feel needs the most touch, the most impact?
What do you mean sectors?
We got the Rocklands,
the community,
right?
Different communities. So look, we have a very diverse district. 19% of my district is Latino. I have the second largest Haitian diaspora per capita in the entire country here in Spring Valley. I have one of the largest Jewish communities in America in my district. So there's different needs, different issues. And what I have tried to do is, number one, go into every community. Multiple times, my staff is reflective of the district. I have Creole-speaking Haitian staff. I have Yiddish-speaking Jewish staff. I have Spanish-speaking Latino staff. We try to be reflective of the district and make sure that we are serving the needs of the broader community.
Right.
And so we go into every community, and it's not a function of, well, this community is more important than that one. It's a function of every community is important, and they may need different things.
Yeah.
And so we try to address all of the unique challenges that each community is facing. But one of the things that I'm most proud of is that we have shown up in every community. I've held over 50 mobile office hour and town hall meetings in every single community. We have answered, hundreds of questions in those meetings from constituents. We have closed over 4,500 individual cases, including many within the Haitian community here in Spring Valley, on issues like immigration or passports or Social Security or Medicare or veterans benefits. We have brought back over $70 million in community project funding to the district. So we've done a lot of work to support every community across this district, and we're going to continue to, because that's the job. The job is to show up in every community, be present, engage, listen, and work to address the issues that either unique to that community or broadly impacting the entire district.
Perfect. That is amazing. Well said, by the way. It's like having kids. There shouldn't be a favorite, right? Right. Exactly. So I know we have to re-elect you and put you back so you could keep pushing the agendas. Is there 3 key items that you're gonna spearhead? And also, is there that one thing that if you leave Congress and you say I accomplished that, and that's enough for my legacy? What would that one thing be?
It's a great question. So, look, on the agenda, to me, it is the affordability crisis, number one. Obviously, the cost of living needs to come down. I want to lift the cap on SALT, the ability to deduct your state and local taxes on your federal income tax return. That $10,000 cap expires next year, so that will lift. And when we renegotiate the tax bill, that's something that I will fight tooth and nail to make sure that we are able to deduct our state and local taxes again at a much higher level than the $10,000 cap. But we need to also focus in on increasing domestic production of energy, because that will help reduce the cost of manufacturing, the cost of transportation, the cost of construction. That's all critical if we're going to reduce overall cost burden on the American people. Secondarily is the immigration system. It's broken, and it needs to be fixed, as I outlined before. We haven't reformed it in 38 years. It really requires both parties to work together, secure the border, yes, absolutely, but deal with those that are here undocumented, over 20 million people in the country, and fix the legal immigration system so that it's more merit-based and more based on what our economic needs are as a country, but that there's a legal pathway for people to come here and participate. And that's something that's critical to me as we move forward. And we have a housing crisis in this country. We're 6.5 million units underbuilt nationwide, which is part of the reason why cost of rent and mortgages has skyrocketed. We need to build more housing across the country. It's not going to be a one-size-fits-all approach. What works in New York City does not necessarily work in Rockland County.
Right.
So we have to be cognizant of that. But we clearly have a housing shortage, and we need to address that and hopefully, as part of that, reduce the cost of housing, because people cannot afford their rent, they cannot afford their mortgages, and that is a major challenge. And then, as I outlined, the crises around the globe are a major problem, and we have to bring about peace and stability around the globe. Look, I'm proud of the fact that in this Congress, I passed 10 bills, 5 of which have become law, signed by Joe Biden, a Democrat. In a divided Congress, as a freshman member of Congress, to be able to get 10 bills passed and 5 signed into law, I'm very proud of that. These are all substantive bills dealing with, the U.S.-Israel relationship, combating the threat from Iran, ensuring that both President Trump and Vice President Harris have the same level of Secret Service protection, because given the assassination attempts we saw earlier this year, our elections should be determined at a ballot box, not by an assassin's bullet, and the Haitian people know this all too well. What happens if you have a political assassination? It creates instability. And we cannot have that. And no matter our differences, it is the choice of the American people to determine who the next president is, and it should not be subject to an assassin.
Right.
And I'm proud of the fact that in this Congress, I passed a common sense gun safety measure that would prevent ghost guns from being manufactured or sold that can evade a metal detector. So there's a lot of work we've been able to do that I think is substantive, and I'm very proud of.
And what's that one thing that you want would be the Mike Lawler legacy thing, like that one thing that you could look back on?
Look, I think serving on foreign affairs is a great responsibility. It's not something that every member of Congress gets to do. And obviously, America is the leader of the free world. And I am proud of the fact that I have been able to pass and get signed into law 3 specific bills, the Special Envoy for the Abraham Accords, the SHIP Act, and the Iran-China Energy Sanctions Act that go after the illicit oil trade between China and Iran that is funding the terrorism in the Middle East. It is our responsibility to help ensure peace, to save lives, to prevent terrorism, to prevent innocent death. And that is something that is significant and a serious responsibility, and I take that very seriously. And so that's something that I'm very proud of. If I only served one term, to be able to get those 3 bills passed and signed into law, it's going to have lasting impact on peace and stability around the globe.
Perfect. And lastly, because I know you got to run, we have a lot of entrepreneurs here in Rockland County, the Spring Valley area. I myself is one. I started a brand called Blue Royal, which is a liquor brand.
Yep.
Is there any plan that you have setting up that can help funding for small business owners?
Look, small businesses are the lifeblood of our economy. 80% of Americans are employed by a small business. And if we're going to have a growing economy that provides real wage increases to Americans, it starts with having small businesses thrive, which means they need access to capital,
right,
which means you need to reduce the barriers to access. I'm on financial services. A lot of what we focused on in this Congress was our capital markets and how to reduce the barriers to small business to get capital. Right now, because interest rates are so high, the availability of capital is limited. And if you do borrow, you're getting less and paying more. So it's a real challenge right now, right? So we have to bring interest rates down. We need to reduce barriers for small businesses to be able to borrow, for investors to invest in these startups and small businesses. We also need to have a coherent tax policy. And part of what was good about the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is that it did treat small businesses very fairly when it came to taxes. And S corps and LLCs and the tax status that and benefits that were part of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, and that's going to be up for renewal next year. So that's something that we're going to be negotiating. The last part is regulations. In New York State, there's over 1 million business regulations on the books. New York State needs to start reducing the burden on small businesses because they're crushing the ability of small businesses to grow. If you're a small business and you're taking out a loan and most small businesses don't start turning a profit until they're a few years in.
Year 7.
And the problem here in New York is it's so cost prohibitive to do business. So it's not just the federal government that needs to act. The state of New York needs to make serious changes to how it treats businesses and what it's doing from a regulatory standpoint to reduce the burden.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for answering our questions. We were well needed. Mike Lawler, thank you very much. Thanks for coming to Groove FM, and we'll be right back.